Hi, I'm Vanessa Harrop, and welcome to Outdoor Quest TV. We're a couple of weeks into archery season, and both TJ and I have elk, mule deer, and whitetail tags. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our wall tent camp. Now, we use deluxe wall tents. They're great, and they're made in Canada. So last year while we were in Moose Camp, we had the chance to talk with Perry Criddle, the owner of Deluxe Wall Tents.
Now, we've used your tents for well over a decade now, and I've used a lot of wall tents over the years, and you do make the best tents I've used. And what sets your tents apart?
Well, I don't know. Being a family business, we take a lot of pride in doing the best job. People always ask us, why can't we necessarily have the cheapest price? Well, that's not our focus. Our focus is quality, customer service. We love to hunt, so a lot of our customers are hunters, so we can relate.
Yeah, super easy to set up.
Yeah.
They're dry, they're warm, just everything you want a wall tent to be.
Yeah, no, we want to make sure that, because there's a certain responsibility that goes with it, when you're sending people out, and if things don't go well for them, well, that's not so good. So yeah, we're pretty cautious that we look after our customers.
So in addition to the wall tents, you do kind of all the accessories that go with wall tent.
We make things like bed rolls and some of the other things, but generally we do supply stoves, diesel heaters, cots, things that go along with the tents themselves. So we try and be a one-stop shop with quality products.
So living in BC, and you do a lot of hunting up in northern BC where we are, and we just got through 4 or 5 days of rain and snow. You don't want to be living in a little nylon tent or anything through that. You need somewhere you can go in, get warm, get dry. Exactly. So this is, perfect wall tent country, isn't it?
Yeah, it protects you. Make sure everything's anchored down. It keeps you warm. You can dry your clothes out. Feel comfortable that you're safe and sound at night.
So 2 guys going on a moose hunt, what would be your perfect size tent for those guys?
2 guys, I would go 10 by 12.
Yeah.
You can go smaller, but all of a sudden you're bumping into each other. 10 by 12, you can set up a spot, maybe even a table and chair if you want, but you got lots of room for your cots and your stove, and light and pretty easy to set up.
Thanks, Perry. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, TJ.
So if you kind of look around where we're hunting here, it's really open country, and one of the problems with this is the deer just never really pattern. We've got 400 or 500 yards stretch along here, and those deer can literally walk anywhere through it. So kind of one thing we've started experimenting with, and it seems to work pretty good, is creating some trails through here. And there's a lot of blowdown in here. There's just tons of blowdown. These aspens get old, the wind gets up, and they just fall down. So deer are like people. They're lazy. And if they don't have to walk over the blowdown, they won't. So what we'll do long before the season is we'll come in here, and you can see we've just kind of moved all of these blowdown trees off to the side. And then what we'll do is we're just going to walk this trail as much as we possibly can and get it set in. So what we want the deer to think is this is actually a deer trail. Now the other thing we've done is we're starting to create a lot of mock scrapes along these trails. And what that does is get the bucks traveling the trails, visiting those scrapes. And we'll do all this long before the season opens. People always wonder, when do you want to start with the mock scrapes? I don't think you can start too early. Typically they don't really get going until later September, early October. But once we have them established, then those deer are used to seeing them there. They're used to traveling these trails. So let's go check out a couple of our scrapes right now, and I'll show you what I mean.
Pandemic grips the world. People are being told to stay home. International borders remain closed.
2020 was our toughest season ever.
Thankfully, we live in one of the best places in the world to be a hunter. Get him.
South Africa opens to hunters.
For us, the hunt is about the journey.
Even if that journey is right in our backyard.
Join us for Season 22 of Outdoor Quest TV.
Outdoor Quest TV is brought to you by Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Sacco Antica Firearms, demand perfection. Zeiss, we make it visible. Loa Boots, simply more. Silver Willow Taxidermy, see the difference. Closed captioning provided by Deluxe Wall Tents, made in Canada for Canadian conditions. So here's one of the scrapes we've made earlier in the year. And when you make a scrape, there's a couple things you need to do. You want to have it at the base of the tree, but it's really important that you have a lick branch above it. And what the deer like to do is they actually rub their preorbital glands around their eye on here and leave scent. And then what other deer will come is you'll actually watch them mouth it and they'll lick it all off. And then they rub their own scent on it. So it's nothing to have, $4 or $5 or even $6 using the same scrape, but it's really important that you have that branch right above it. And we've seen it countless times where the deer be working the scrape, then he'd work the lick branch. So we like to check these pretty often. Anytime they get any debris or anything in them like that, the buck's gonna know they're not active. So we'll come along, we'll just clear it out a little bit. And I like to have my scrape about 18 inches in diameter. I like to start them fairly small, let the deer actually dig them out more. The other thing you need to do is scent your scrape. And that means putting urine in it. And I'm not a big fan of using commercial scents. I think there's just too much danger of, passing disease and things like that along. So you'll probably find this hard to believe, but human urine actually works just as well. And there's been countless studies. Dr. James Kroll, one of the leading authorities on deer, says, actually human urine is as good as buck urine. And, we're not endangering any deer that way. So make sure you drink lots of water before you come out checking your scrapes. And I think I'll save you the demonstration on that part. So once we have some scrapes start to get active, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a ground blind about 20-25 yards away from them. And if we have 2 or 3 scrapes get active, we'll set up 2 or 3 ground blinds. And what you really want to do is set your ground blinds up not only for the prevailing wind, but also for winds, that aren't normal. So that way, the wind usually comes from the west here. So, this blind's perfect right now. But if we get a north wind one day, this blind is shot. So we'll have other blinds set up pretty much to cover every wind condition. Now, the other thing we do is we run a lot of trail cameras. And this does tell us what bucks are in the area. It tells us where they're traveling, although we are kind of forcing them to travel. But the most important thing it tells us is what time they are traveling. And that's what patterning bucks is all about. And this year, we've seen a great 4x4, and we have seen a really, really big 6x5. I honestly think he's going to be a Boone and Crockett deer. So we had a really close encounter with him on opening day. Let's take a look at that.
What do you want to do?
Just hold the camera here for a second. Just a little over 80 yards.
So what's the plan? We're kind of hooped right here. We can't move forward or backwards.
This grass is tall enough, we might be able to just sneak in on him. Sneaking in on a feeding whitetail's not easy, but it's kind of our only game right now, so. He doesn't have a clue we're here, so let's try and sneak down if we can get. How far can you shoot?
50 yards.
Okay. We only got to get about 30 or 40 yards. Let's give it a try. Wait. He's starting to walk away.
He's huge.
I think he knows something's up. So close.
That was exciting. Holy. Well, it's been a really interesting 20 days. We've worked really, really hard. But now the deer have gone nocturnal. So we have one camera set up where it's showing a few bucks coming in first light in the morning, but just occasionally. I have this gut feeling that this morning our big guy is going to come in. So we're going to sneak into the blind in the dark, get set up as quiet as we can, and then hopefully sit for about an hour and a half and he'll come in.
Outdoor Quest TV is brought to you by Defense Aerosols, bear spray for when your life depends on it. Safari Club International Canada, first for hunters. Alberta Outdoorsman Magazine. Midland Radio's communication for every adventure.
We made it in here, and now all we gotta do is gonna set up my bow really quietly and then sit here and wait for the sun to rise and not make a peep. Easier said than done. Okay, well, we'll give him a little bit, but that was, he just gave me the perfect opportunity. I was able to draw just as he turned away, and then he kind of got spooked a little bit, opened right up, and I was able to just slide one right in. So, I don't think he's gone far, but we'll just let him sit for a little bit and gather our stuff. Like, I took the morning off work and snuck in here. We've not been coming in here in the morning, and what we did was we built a scrape, and we put up a trail camera like way back in August when we noticed that there was a lot of trails coming through here, and so we've been checking the camera, and we noticed that there was 4 bucks in particular coming in and checking that scrape. And so when we were sitting here this morning, big 5x6 came through, but what TJ was saying is he came like right in through and walked right through, didn't even stop, didn't check out the scrape, he was just traveling straight through. But we knew there was another big 4, and not even maybe 5-10 minutes later, TJ's like, the big 4. And I couldn't believe it. He just came right in, and unfortunately where I'm sitting, I can't see a thing. So TJ has the camera setting it right here, and I'm watching the screen to see where the buck is at because I don't want to expose myself. Worked perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Well, what seems like an eternity. We've waited, I think, long enough. And long enough for both TJ and I to take a quick pee break. So,
TMI, by the way.
Okay, well, let's start tracking blood.
Yeah, just follow it slowly. Keep looking ahead.
Oh, look, there's my arrow. Let's just have a look at this. You actually see it loosened. I guess it was turning around through him, but that's gone right through.
It's a penetration there.
Right?
Yep.
So, did its job. So, that's a lot of blood on there, so.
This segment is brought to you by Stony Creek Hunting Gear. It's in the blood.
Yeah, like look at the blood going all the way up. And there. And if the cameraman just points the camera a little way down there, you might see.
What? There's a deer there. Beautiful, beautiful deer.
Oh, wow.
Definitely an old timer.
Really old, hey? Let me just.
You knew that from the trail cam pics. Oh, gorgeous.
Right, look at that.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
So we'll get him set up a little bit better for you so we can have a better look at him. But what an amazing morning. Just an incredible hunt. We hunted hard for 30 days. We did mock scrapes, we put out trail cams, we tried everything. We were working all these ridge tops, coming out every night, checking all of our trail cams, and it's so amazing when it all comes together. I'm going to be late for work, sorry, but this is so worth it. Wow, it's just been so exciting, and it's just so amazing when all your planning and hard work comes together.
Wow, what an amazing hunt. And what better way to celebrate than with some fresh backstraps. Now, one thing that a lot of people struggle with is cooking wild game steaks properly. They either dry them out terribly or they overcook them. So today, I want to show you how to cook the perfect wild game steak every time, and it's only going to take us 6 minutes. So we've got our Camp Chef Explorer 2-burner stove here, and first glance it kind of looks like every other 2-burner stove on the market, but it's the modular components that really make this amazing. So the first thing we've got here is our deluxe barbecue grill box, and we're just going to set that on here. And what this actually does is turn this into a propane barbecue, and no backstrap would be complete without some spuds and onions and peppers. So we're just going to put our flat grill on there. So now you can see we've transformed just a 2-burner stove into a barbecue and a griddle. The other great thing about these modular components is we can use them on the sidekick on our pellet grill back home. All right, let's get started. So we've got our potato, onion, and pepper mixture on here. We've had it on for about 10 or 15 minutes. And what I wanted to do was let the grill box get up to 700 degrees, which sounds awful hot, but the trick to cooking wild game steaks is to do it really fast and really hot. So simply what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning salt, and you can use whatever your favorite seasoning salt is. Flip them over. I'm going to do both sides at once. A little more on, and that's all I'm going to put on here, and you'll see what we do with this in a minute. So we've oiled that grill a little bit so it won't stick. Always use tongs. Don't ever use a fork on a steak. It lets all the juice out. And put it right on the hottest part of the grill. And close that up. And we're going to time 2 minutes exactly. I'm not usually this anal when I cook, but this is all about the timing. So 5 seconds to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up. We're gonna flip these steaks. Look at that nice char on them already. That's like 2 minutes. Now we're gonna put some butter on them. Just put a big dollop of butter right on it. A little heart-healthy cooking. And we're gonna close it. We're gonna cook 2 more minutes. Okay, that's been 4 minutes now. We'll give them one final flip here. And those are gonna be perfect. Look at the nice char on those though. Of course, we put a little more butter on. And we'll close that for 2 more minutes. Okay, there's 6 minutes. Just pull these off here. Look at that though, you get that beautiful char and crust on the outside. And that's really what you want on a steak, is that char and crust on the outside, but you want to keep it nice and moist on the inside. And by cooking it that fast, that's what you do. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna let this rest for a minute or 2, and then we're gonna enjoy. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Get into that. Look at that though, just perfectly done. Look at the juice just running out of that. And just a nice medium rare, so tender. They talk about field to table. There's the field, there's the table, and we're only a couple hours difference. Oh my. 6 minutes, perfect steak every time. Outdoor Quest TV is also brought to you by these fine sponsors.